Good evening and thanks for joining us. California officials say this week's fast-moving wildfires in the northern part of the state have killed at least 35 people, making them the deadliest in state history. The fires have destroyed close to 6,000 structures and forced the evacuation of 100,000 residents. Today, more than 10,000 firefighters battled 16 large wildfires that have burned more than 214,000 acres of land. California wine country has sustained the worst property damage, especially in the Napa Valley and Sonoma County. Fires there are only 45% contained. NewsHour Weekend Special Correspondent Joanne Jennings went to the Sonoma hillside town of Kenwood, where most residents have evacuated and others are scouring the ruins.
Last Sunday night, Jim Perry went out for a night of dancing. He returned home exhausted and fell into a deep sleep.
I'm a sound sleeper. I just smelled smoke, just terrible smoke, smoky, burny, smell. That's the only thing that woke me up.
By the time Perry awoke, all of his neighbors had evacuated, except one family.
Yeah, I did hear their son scream, the fire's coming in the back window, and that's all I heard.
That family got out, but Perry, a machinist, decided to stay to protect the home his father built.
It's like a little oasis.
Yep. Everything is on fire all at once, all around me.
Armed with several garden hoses, rakes, and a leaf blower, Perry stayed up all night fighting the raging fire.
I mean, things were exploding. All the propane tanks exploded. It's like a war zone. I can't describe it.
You could have died. Why did you stay?
Because it's my house. I'm sorry.
Perry's friend, Jay Gamble, steps in to comfort him.
His dad built it.
Yeah, I couldn't leave.
This once tranquil cul-de-sac is hard to recognize for those who knew it well. It's now covered in ash, rubble, and the charred remains of vehicles. A stack of wheelchairs is parked curbside in front of what was once a convalescent home. All 8 elderly residents were evacuated safely. Though Kenwood is inside a mandatory evacuation zone, a handful of residents remain to help.
While I think there's been a lot of reports of much worse wind.
In this rural mountainside town, Shelley Lewis and Zach Power spend their days caring for animals left behind by evacuees. Their own homes succumb to the fires, but they don't want to dwell on what they've lost.
As soon as, I was done crying, I went, what can I do here? And so this far outweighs my loss there.
After a little coaxing, they got these cows to come out of hiding and eat.
The owner was really concerned about them. They haven't had food or water for a few days.
Lewis has received dozens of requests from residents who fled in the middle of the night, leaving their animals behind.
We're also kind of the first eyes on the ground for individual homeowners like that. They're getting national news coverage of general big pictures, but they're all like, what about my house at so-and-so and my house at so-and-so? So we're trying to go to those homes and film them or videotape and send them back information.
At Kenwood Elementary School, a group of volunteers hastily clear brush and dried leaves from the building's perimeter. Doug Zucker is leading the effort.
Fire department, everyone's doing their best, but they're spread so thin that they're not trying to do any sort of preventative work on a non-life-threatening situation.
The fire station is a hub for the volunteers and firefighting crews from every part of California and neighboring states. Captain Fernando Calderon and his crew drove 7 hours from Long Beach and worked 40 hours on the fire line.
And we've been working ever since nonstop for about 30 hours now. It truly is a statewide effort, obviously, to put this fire out. There's still lots of fire, lots of really tragic devastation, obviously. Really, really sad, hard for us to see. And we're just here doing our best. We really want to kind of keep the loss now to a minimum and just kind of keep this fire from doing any more damage.